On Saturday night, August 2nd, 2025, New Jersey and New York City were alive with weekend routines. The city pulsed with energy. Restaurants buzzed, laughter spilled from open windows, and families in New Jersey settled in for a quiet evening. Some people were out with friends, others were catching up on chores, and many were simply unwinding after a long week. It was a night like any other, filled with the comforting rhythm of daily life. Until 10:18 p.m. Without warning, a powerful jolt rippled through homes and high-rises, catching millions off guard. The city's familiar sounds were suddenly drowned out by a deep, unsettling rumble. In an instant, the ordinary became extraordinary. For a few unforgettable seconds, the ground vibrated beneath everyone's feet, leaving people stunned and searching for answers. Some clung to loved ones, others froze in disbelief, and all around, confusion and fear swept through the city like a wave. This wasn't the usual city rumble, it was a deep, resonant shaking from the earth itself. The sensation was unmistakable, an invisible force moving everything at once, making the most solid ground feel suddenly uncertain. Picture frames rattled, glassware clinked, and chairs vibrated as confusion swept through neighborhoods. Everyday objects became reminders of the earth's power, as people watched their homes tremble and wondered what was happening. Social media lit up instantly. Did anyone else feel that? Echoed from Manhattan to Bergen County. Within seconds, thousands of posts and messages appeared as people reached out to friends and strangers alike, desperate to confirm what they'd just experienced. The shared experience quickly revealed the truth. This was an earthquake, a rare visitor to the East Coast. News outlets scrambled to report, and neighbors gathered outside, exchanging stories and trying to make sense of the event. As the ground stilled, questions lingered. How strong was it? Was there more to come? Emergency services moved swiftly, checking for damage and reassuring anxious residents. The city, usually so sure of itself, felt vulnerable and exposed. The tremor was a stark reminder that even here, the earth can surprise us. In a place where people are used to controlling their environment, nature had delivered an unexpected message, one that would not soon be forgotten. Within minutes, the USGS confirmed what millions across the region had just experienced, a sudden, unmistakable jolt. The official report, an earthquake, magnitude 3.8, had struck the area. For many, it was a rare and startling event, especially in a part of the country not known for frequent seismic activity. The news spread quickly, with alerts lighting up phones and news tickers across the Northeast. This light to moderate quake was strong enough to be felt by people in homes, offices, and schools, causing items to rattle on shelves and some to wonder if a truck had passed by. While it was noticeable, it wasn't powerful enough to cause major structural damage or widespread injuries. Still, the sensation was unsettling for many, especially those who had never felt an earthquake before. The epicenter was pinpointed in Hasbrouck Heights, New Jersey, just a stone's throw from Teterboro Airport. This is a densely populated area, filled with homes, businesses, and busy streets. The proximity to so many people meant the effects were widely felt, and the community quickly became the focus of media attention. Because the quake was relatively shallow, the shaking felt especially sharp and sudden for those near the epicenter. Residents described a quick, forceful jolt, like a heavy object being dropped nearby, followed by a few seconds of uncertainty as they tried to process what had happened. To put it in perspective, the earthquake magnitude scale is logarithmic. That means each whole number increase represents a 10-fold jump in amplitude. So a 4.8 quake would be 10 times stronger than this 3.8 event, and a 5.8 would be 100 times more powerful. Even a small difference in magnitude can mean a much bigger impact. While a 3.8 was enough to rattle nerves and spark conversation, it was well below the threshold for widespread concern. Most buildings are designed to withstand much stronger shaking, and life quickly returned to normal. For many, it became a story to share with friends and family, a reminder of nature's unpredictability. For scientists, however, a quake of this size in New Jersey is a valuable data point. Earthquakes on the East Coast are rare and behave differently than those on the West Coast. Each event helps researchers refine their understanding of the region's seismic risks and the unique ways energy travels through the older, denser rocks of the eastern United States. These events are usually triggered by ancient faults, cracks in the Earth's crust that have existed for millions of years, reactivating under the pressures of modern tectonic stress. Unlike the well-known faults of California, these are often hidden and poorly understood, making each quake an important clue in the geological puzzle. Most tremors in this region are so small they go completely unfelt, picked up only by sensitive instruments. But a 3.8 is uncommon, and when it does happen, it provides researchers with a rare opportunity to study the region's complex geology and improve future preparedness. For the public, this earthquake was a wake-up call, a reminder that even in places where quakes are rare, the ground can still move. Thankfully, it was a lesson learned without destruction, but it left many with a new awareness of the hidden forces beneath their feet. The quake's impact radiated far beyond Bergen County, sending shockwaves that rippled outward in every direction. What began as a subtle tremor beneath the feet of local residents quickly became a regional event, felt by millions across state lines. The seismic energy traveled through the region's dense ancient bedrock, a geological foundation that acts like a superhighway for vibrations. This unique geology allowed the quake's force to move swiftly and efficiently, carrying its energy far from the epicenter. Northern New Jersey felt it most intensely, with startled residents pouring into the streets, checking on neighbors, and calling loved ones to share their experiences. But the tremors didn't stop there. They quickly crossed the Hudson River, making their presence known in the heart of New York City. In Manhattan, skyscrapers swayed gently, while in Brooklyn, historic brownstones creaked and rattled. Office workers paused meetings, and subway riders exchanged anxious glances as the city briefly held its breath. Reports soon poured in from the Bronx, Harlem, and even as far as Connecticut, where suburban homes and city apartments alike felt the earth move. Earthquakes on the East Coast are rare, but when they do occur, the rigid, ancient rock beneath our feet lets seismic waves travel astonishing distances, spreading the sensation across multiple states. In the aftermath, social media lit up with posts and alerts, turning platforms into a real-time map of the quake's reach. People from dozens of towns compared notes, sharing stories and confirming the shared experience almost instantly. For a few seconds, the event united millions. Whether in quiet suburbs or on bustling city streets, everyone felt the same jolt, a rare moment of collective awareness. The quake also underscored the importance of coordinated emergency response. First responders in New Jersey and New York worked together, highlighting how disasters demand teamwork that transcends state boundaries. The tremor's reach was a powerful reminder. Emergencies don't respect borders, and our preparedness must reflect that reality. True resilience comes from regional planning and cooperation, ensuring that when the ground shakes again, communities across the Northeast are ready to respond, together. In the quake's immediate aftermath, people turned to each other, online and in person, for answers. "Did you feel that?" became the universal greeting, connecting strangers and neighbors. Social media exploded with stories. Some heard a deep rumble, others felt a sharp jolt. High-rise residents described swaying. Those in houses felt rattling vibrations. Many first thought it was a construction accident or something falling upstairs. Neighborhood chats and apps buzzed with updates, reassurance, and humor. The digital conversation calmed nerves and put the event in perspective. For some, it was frightening. For others, a curiosity or even a joke. The quake became a shared story, one that brought the community together, if only for a night. Bradford Billingsley, on 129th Street in Harlem, was relaxing with a friend when the quake hit. Suddenly, the entire apartment shook, a forceful jolt that demanded attention. The coffee table rattled, objects vibrated, and for a moment, everything felt surreal. Bradford and his friend exchanged confused glances, wondering if it was an explosion or a burst pipe. The idea of an earthquake seemed unlikely, until social media confirmed it citywide. Bradford's story mirrors thousands a normal night, suddenly disrupted, then a rush to technology for answers. His experience captures the transition from routine to shock, and the modern way we process such events. Personal stories like his turn abstract geology into real human moments. Behind every seismic reading are countless individual experiences of surprise and wonder. As soon as the quake was confirmed, emergency agencies sprang into action. New York City's emergency management issued advisories, reassuring the public no major damage or injuries reported. Residents were urged to check for hazards, shifted items, cracks, or anything that could fall. The message: stay alert, but don't panic. In New Jersey, the Bergen County Sheriff's Office coordinated with local police, confirming no major impacts. Clear, centralized communication helped prevent misinformation and kept emergency lines open for real crises. Authorities reminded everyone to use 911 only for true emergencies. Officials monitored for aftershocks, though the risk was low. The response was calm, professional, and focused on public safety. Information and reassurance were key to managing anxiety. The best news: the earthquake caused little to no damage. Emergency centers were on alert, but calls about serious incidents never came. Fire and police surveys found infrastructure intact and communities safe. Modern building codes and the quake's brief duration helped prevent harm. Some windows rattled and items fell, but there were no injuries or structural issues. Bridges and tunnels were inspected and found unharmed. The region passed this real-world stress test with flying colors. It was a night of surprise, not tragedy, a testament to preparation and resilience. While rare, earthquakes aren't new to New York and New Jersey. Ancient fault lines like the Ramapo run beneath the region, occasionally reactivated by tectonic pressure. Most tremors are too small to feel, but history records several notable quakes. In 1737 and 1884, magnitude 5+ events shook the area, toppling chimneys and cracking plaster. More recently, a 4.8 quake in April 2024 rattled buildings from Philadelphia to Boston. These events remind us that while the risk of a major quake is low, it's not zero. The August 2025 quake was another data point, an echo of the region's active geology. Understanding this history puts surprising tremors in context. The quake left residents more aware and more curious about preparedness. Experts recommend drop, cover, and hold on during a quake to avoid injury from falling objects. Stay indoors until the shaking stops. Running outside can be dangerous. Secure heavy furniture and have a family emergency plan with an out-of-state contact. Keep an emergency kit with essentials: water, food, flashlight, and first aid. The August 2025 quake started important conversations about safety. The key isn't fear, but awareness and readiness for the unexpected. A few simple steps can make all the difference when the ground moves again.